Steph Curry. This dude is primarily a jump shooter, still shot 48% from the field last year, averaged 24 and 8, got a handle, can dance on you anytime he wants to. And I'm talking about he don't even have to follow through. All you got to do is throw it up like that, and it's usually going in. Better than 40% from three-point range, 42% from three-point range. This dude is a sniper. He's a marksman. He is lethal. And I don't have a problem, and I don't think it's beyond the pale to have a discussion about how legitimate this young brother is. He's my favorite player in the NBA, Skip.
When you think of the best individual seasons in NBA history, what are the first ones that come to mind? There's that season where Will Chamberlain averaged 50 and 26, or maybe 87 or 92 Michael Jordan. Or there's 2012 LeBron James, where he won MVP and came second as Defensive Player of the Year. Voting, those were all amazing seasons, and not to say any of them are incorrect, but I think when we have this conversation, there's one season we forget about a lot of the time, and that's 2015, 2016, Stephen Curry for Golden State. They were just coming off winning an NBA championship. Steph was actually just coming off winning an MVP as well. So there was, of course, a question if he can get any better than he was the year before. But after the 2016 season, that question wasn't even a thought anymore to start the season against the Pelicans. Curry had 40 on opening night, the next game against the Rockets, 25 more points in the game after that. Steph had 53 points in 36 minutes, which actually ended up being a season high in point. But that was just the beginning for Steph in these games. Curry became the first player since Michael Jordan in 1990 to score 118 points in his team's first 3 games through the first 3 games.
Motor. I think a lot of people don't understand how great his motor is. He never stops moving. His ball handling, his ability to shoot the ball off the dribble and off the catch, is uncanny. I don't think there's ever been a guy in our league to be able to shoot the ball as well as he does. Off the dribble or off the catch, off the ball. And, he just creates so many different matchup problems for your defense, and you always have to be aware of them.
How do you slow him down?
The same way you slow me down. Well. You can't.
The Warriors had a game in Minnesota in this game. Steph had 46 points. He also shot 60% from the field, 61% from 3, and 100% from the free throw line. This is one thing that makes this season so special from Curry. He finished the season averaging 50 points from the field, 45%, from 3 and 90% from the line. With this, he became just the 10th player to have a season with 50-40-90 splits. This wasn't it, though. He also had the highest three-point percentage ever by a player in a season who averaged 30 or more points, and he had the highest true shooting percentage by a player who averaged 20 points. Just absurd numbers. And to me, personally, efficiency is probably the most important statistic in basketball. But Steph Kushu, from anywhere, you have to guard him at half court. Curry made 51.6% of shots between 28 feet and the half court line, which is 47 feet, the rest of the NBA, 20.8%.
Steph Curry is now in the midst of having the greatest single season any player has ever had. Any player in NBA history. You can throw all the numbers at me you want, all the years that so-and-so did so-and-so, and I will trump you with the numbers that Steph Curry is putting up right now. Now, I want to be clear about this. I'm not saying Steph is better than Michael Jordan. I'm not saying he's better than Magic or Bird or Shaq or Kareem or whoever. Maybe someday I will. I'm just saying he's having the single greatest season ever.
Though in the 16th game of the season, the Lakers were in T to play the Warriors with this game. The Warriors became the first team ever to start a season 16-0. They would continue the streak until the 25th game of the season, where they lost to the Milwaukee Bucks 24-0, is the best new record to start a season by far in the 42nd game of the season. Versus the Indiana Pacers, Curry had a triple-double with 39 points, 12 assists, and 10 rebounds. He also hit 8 three-pointers of this game. This 8 threes gave Curry a total of 2,003 threes for the season up to that point. And
I think right now, from what I've seen, it's easy for me to say that he's the best that I've ever seen shoot. I've seen some great shooters. But, we have this conversation all the time about the generations, what we've seen, who's the best at their particular position or or they're skilled. You know, you guys know as well as I do, each year, the generation, when they change, the game changes. And so I really put him in a category all of his own, because the way he plays the game, you know, being a point guard that can handle the way he handles the ball and the way he can shoot the ball and the way he shoots it. And I think right now people are watching Steph play, and so these young kids are now growing up, and he's setting the bar for those young kids at the point guard.
About 2 weeks after that, the Warriors had a game in Washington in this game. Curry had 51 points with 113 three-pointers with 51 points. He tied Michael Jordan's record of most points in Washington of all time. This is a really interesting topic because Steph and Michael Jordan actually have a lot of similar statistics and fall into a lot of the same categories. It's a little weird for me to put them next to each other and compare because they play such different games of basketball, but I can see why people do.
But no, his arsenal, Chuck, is just too deep to stop. He's the Michael Jordan of this era without dunking a basketball. He shoots threes, Jordan dunk. The only difference. What do you think?
Well, he's right now. He's just playing. His confidence is supreme. He can make. He'll take any shot, and he's making all those shots. But to me, he's like, I can score on anybody. And when you cross over from being a great player to a superstar, your confidence goes through the roof, and his confidence is through the roof right now.
Heading into the All-Star break, Curry was, of course, named the starter in the Western Conference, and the Warriors had a record heading into the All-Star break, ready 48-4. The greatest record, of course, of all time heading into the All-Star break, beating Michael Jordan's BS. There's that M comparison again. I mean, the Warriors were all anybody was talking about in the sports scene. At this time, we've never seen anything like them. Up to this point, a team full of a bunch of shooters that literally don't lose basketball games. When I say everybody was talking about it, I mean everyone.
I believe that. In terms of being able to, off the dribble, get his shot off from anywhere that fast, best I've ever seen. He can shoot. His daddy could shoot, but he could only stand one spot and shoot, right? He didn't really like to run around a lot.
A few games after the All-Star break, the Warriors had a game versus the Orlando Magic in this game. Curry did two really cool things. He scored 51 points, which allowed him to be the first player since LeBron in 2009 with 350 games in a season. And he also hit 10 threes in this game. And with this, he passed Kyle Korver for 127 consecutive games. With the three-pointer, the new NBA record players have spoke out before how it takes a whole entire team to guard Steph Curry.
What goals do you have when it comes to trying to defend Steph, or what you want to try to do against him?
You just try to make it tough as much as possible. I mean, he's going to get to certain spots on the floor. They do a great job of running some continuity plays that allow him not to stay stagnant at all. He's going to come off a lot of pick and rolls, a lot of pin downs. So just takes a total team effort to contain, him and Clay as well as the other guys. What makes this league really great is just, especially the point guard role, is just everyone's just so different. In terms of what they offer to their team, and when you have an MVP two-time, and what he contributes every single night and what he means on that floor for them.
Oklahoma City to play the Thunder in this game. Steph had 46 points with 12 threes, and at the time 12 threes was the NBA record for threes in a game in this game. He also broke the record for threes in the season, which he had before, with 288 in just a 56 game of the season. This game is definitely one of the most important games of Curry's career. Also, I'm sure you remember how this game ended.
They do have a timeout. Decide not to use it. Curry, way downtown. Bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot from Curry! With 0.6 of a second remaining.
Remaining a little later in the season, the Celtics were in town to play the Warriors. This game was on April 1st, 2016. The Warriors losing this game marked their first home loss since January 27th, 2015, a 54-game win streak that has to be one of the most ridiculous records in NBA history. The Inside the NBA guys did a great job on breaking down what Steph Curry is so hard to guard. And the way that he gravitates defenders towards the ball, it makes it so much easier for his teammates and so much easier to win games. In the last game of the season, versus the Memphis Grizzlies, Steph K finished with 46 points and 10 threes. These 10 threes allowed Steph to make 4,002 three-pointers this season. No other player, himself included, has ever made 300 threes in a season before. Then also Steph made 10+ threes in 4 different games this season, the most ever in a season, but also more than any player has done in their entire career. If you look at any three-point record, month, week, game, Curry owns all of them from this season. The Warriors finished the season 73-9, the greatest record in NBA history, edging out the 72-10 BLL by 1 game. Steve finished the season averaging 30.1 points, 6.7 assists, and 5.4 rebounds. It led the NBA in points per game.
You look at the players in the NBA today, who is the closest, or who would you say has a Kobe instinct about them?
There's several of them, I think, out there right now that approach the game, extremely, extremely seriously. And I get a kick out of watching Golden State play because, they seem very unassuming. Clay and Steph seem very calm and nice guys, and those guys are stone cold killers, man. They don't care about what you think of them. They don't care about if they make a game-winning shot or miss it. They're out there to do their job, and they have a very strong sense of killer instinct.
Kindly like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I will catch you in next one.